What's up everyone, it's KK, and today I'm going to go over a video basically explaining the current meta of Ghost of Tabor. Now, if you're going into a lobby and you notice you're just getting smacked every single time and you don't understand what's going on, it's probably because people are simply running meta builds. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of these players in this game are not that good. They simply just understand how the game is supposed to be played and they play it accordingly. So the first thing you have to understand when it comes to playing the meta in Ghost of Tabor is you don't have to play the meta, alright? You can play any way you want, but the meta is always going to be that guaranteed way where you go into the raid and you feel safe and comfortable every time going in there and be like, okay, I know I can make it out of this raid with this kit. So let me show you or explain to you exactly what the meta is. So let's get straight down to it. Right now in the meta, the only thing that separates the good players and the bad players is map awareness and just overall fight awareness and knowing how to maneuver. Every single player right now that is playing the meta always uses a weapon that is able to spray people down with low recoil. So you'll see them with an AK-5C, an AK Alpha, or something I'll talk about in a little bit here, which is going to be the Scar L, which is good for players that are just getting into the game, just hit Spectre 3 or so, and you're trying to, compete with all the bigger players here. So they'll basically use a weapon like this, big drum mag, and something that can just spray everything down, and all they're going to do is just boom, 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 melt you. They don't have to do much, and that's what a lot of players are doing. A lot of players in this game, they may not be the best players in the world. You may be getting killed a lot back and forth, and like, wow, these players are really good. They're really not. They just understand the meta. When it comes to this game, if you have a very low recoil gun and a drum mag that allows you to shoot for a long time, you can take out targets from far ranges no matter where it's far, and eventually they're gonna drop. Like, you see that even at this range here, I was able to just continuously shoot and keep my reticle around that Phoenix until he dropped, and eventually a bullet hit him. It's just RNG almost. Almost from any range, you can do the same tactic and just shoot. Okay, so let's talk about how to build your gun. Now, there's so many guns that you can use out there. In game, you start using things like an ASVAL. When it comes to SMGs, you have crazy options like the P90 or the Vector 9mm, 10mm, and there's so many different options, right? But when it comes to early games, they're just starting out on the wipe, and you just hit Spectre 3, all right? Now, let's talk about the Scar L. Scar L is going to be one of those guns that's going to allow you to compete with all these players that have all the best guns at a very early point in the wipe. Now, some of these attachments that I have right in front of me are some of the most meta attachments in the game. Now, of course, a suppressor. Every single time you go into the raid, you're going to want to have a suppressor. Not having one puts you at a grave disadvantage. As soon as you shoot even a Phoenix, a player next to you, or just accidentally shoot, people are going to know exactly where you are every single time. And those players that are already in game and, just PvP hungry, going into the game, just looking to PvP, they're going to hear that shot and run right to you every single time. So you got to make sure you are suppressed, all right? Suppressors are a game changer, and once you understand how much of a ghost you can be in these raids while using them, you'll understand it's just insane. Okay, so coming into more attachments here, we have different grips. Now, if you do not have a shift grip or an angled grip, you can go ahead and use whatever grip you want. But of course, the two best grips in the game are going to be shift and angled. Now, the angled grip is slightly better than the shift grip, but depending on what kind of player you are, a lot of gun stock players don't like using the angled grip because of the angle that does hold your gun at. But if you are freehanding, you can get away with it. Now, of course, you can choose either one. It does not really matter, but these are going to give you the best recoil control when it comes down to shooting these weapons. Now, let's go to sights here. Optics. Hollow is always going to be most people's #1 choice. It's a very clear sight. You can see the player right in the circle. The reticle always pops up on time. It's not hard to lose track of it. It's always there for you. It's a super good sight, especially when it comes into spraying. And of course, another meta attachment is going to be drum mags. Now, of course, you're not always going to be able to get drum mags. This is going to be very in game, but of course, When you get there, this is what you're going to want to be looking for. It's a drum mags. These are going to allow you to spray for longer periods of time from players that are longer range, and make sure you can take them out when you need to take them out. Now, one attachment here that I want to go over that a lot of people do not speak of is the laser and the night force. Now, I don't use the flashlight much because there's no use for it in this game. It doesn't really blind players, and there's not really places that are that dark besides, you know, underground, that you really need to use it. But with this laser here, I try to tell people so much. Yes, it gives away your position, but once you really understand this game and how it's played, you either kill or be killed. If people know where you're at anyway or either way, you know, it's all about shooting first. This laser is so insane when it comes to snapping on targets. You can have your gun completely down at your waist, pointing at the floor, looking around, not paying attention. A player could pop up and boom, you're right on them. Or someone, like, it's just situations like that are so insane and is really, really useful, especially for maps like Matka. Because a lot of the times you don't always want to bring the reticle up to your face, you know, be aiming through the sight, especially if you're on a lower end account and use like a Cobra sight or, you know, OKP7 or just something like that, to where you're not able to find the reticle on your sight quick enough. Using a laser is going to help you so much when people just pop up out of nowhere, you're not ready, and you're just able to boom. And the recoil control while using a laser is absolutely insane. You can actually hold your shot there and never even miss a bullet, I promise you, from any range. You know, if they're over here on Sniper Hill, you can laser them down. If they're over here, you can laser them down. Yes, players will be able to see your laser and know where you're at, but it's all about situational awareness. You know, you use it when you know you can use it. Other than the laser here, we're going to talk about the Night Force scope. Now, the Night Force is my in-game scope. This is specifically more for Island, but it can be used on every other map. Now, when it comes to the Night Force, you slap it on. You don't always want to push it all the way back on the gun, but you slide it forward just a little bit, if it'll even go on. All right, slide it forward just a little bit, and it gives you a perfect scope that is just amazing. Now, it's just as good as a red dot. The magnification isn't too big, you know, it's perfect. You have a very big radius in the scope so you can see around, and the recoil control on it is amazing. You know, it's just like a red dot, it's just like any other scope. You can even zoom in further, you know, if you wanted to, and still get a good recoil control while being magnified in, you know, from far distance. So using this is very, very nice. For in-game, I would definitely say this is the best scope in the game. 100%. There is nothing better than the Night Force. It is just absolutely insane. And look how clear the scope is. Like, it's just, man, every single time I use it, I just know, like, yeah, the whole lobby is getting wiped. But that's it as far as it goes for attachments. So the next thing I'm going to talk about here is gear. Now I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people will not tell you. The in-game gear, T5, Tier 6, Tier 7 are not necessary. They do not help you any more than a T4 armor vest does. The T4 armor vest is everything you need in this game. Now, I could go all the way to end game and only use this T4 armor vest, this ATE helmet, and I would be completely fine. It gives you the perfect amount of damage reduction from Phoenix and just the amount from players to where you're still able to fight them consistently without getting, you know, just completely one-tapped or so. So I'm telling you right now, this is what you want to be running when you get to, you know, I believe about Tier 3 Minty. You can pick up this gear. It's really, really easy to get, and it's nothing crazy. I'm telling you, this is going to be it. Alright, so for the players that are out there that are kind of more low level, this is what a meta kit will look like. You'd be running something like a Scar, a weapon with low recoil that can spray from long distances. Maybe you pick yourself up a shift grip. You can get yourself a suppressor, maybe from Spectre 2, I believe. You can pick up a hollow sight, and then this is what you would be looking like right here with a T4 armor vest and a T4 helmet. And this is what you could use to take out anybody. I don't care if they're wearing boss armor. I don't care if they're wearing T5, T6, Ronin helmets. It doesn't matter. With a kit like this, you can take out any players, and that's just the meta in this game. Now, obviously, you're not going to have the most armor compared to people that have T5 and T6, but of course, this game is all about knowing how to play the map, rotations, and repositioning on players. I'm probably dying here, so it looks like this is going to be the end of the video, but I hope this helps you understand the meta and helps you switch up your kits a little bit to make sure you're taking advantage of how the game is currently positioned around these items and attachments. But that's going to be it. If you like this video anyway, hit the like button, hit the comment section, tell me anything you want to know next, and I'll catch you later. Subscribe.